unapologetically holding you down. This is Tribe Talk. We got you. Welcome back to another episode of Tribe Talk Radio Shows with their host, Tiffany Hatton,
Santisha Walker,
and Trinetta Burrell.
It is so good to see you all again this week.
Yes.
Today, we have a hot topic, right? But a very important topic. We're going to be talking about marriage, valuable tips and lessons learned. Right here with the Tribe Talk ladies, you're going to have a candid conversation. We're talking all things marriage for the 21st century lady.
Yes. So, as you all know, Tribe Talk Radio Show is a platform where women can let their hair down, be yourself, bring in your perspective. We connect as sisters, as blood sisters. We want you all to go out and connect with other sisters, whoever those women are in your life that mean a lot to you. We are here to hold you down. So no matter your perspective, we've got you. No matter your background, we've got you unapologetically holding you down. Tribe Talk Radio Show, we got you.
You can listen in to our show weekly since Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on our YouTube channel, as well as every other Saturday on Spreaker, again at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you subscribe for updates, and when you subscribe, click the bell icon so you can get alerts every time we go live. Make sure you also have your ladies join in on our conversation, hashtag Tribe Talk Radio Show, and follow us on Facebook at Tribe Talk Radio Show, Twitter at Tribe Talk Radio, and Instagram at Tribe Talk Radio Show. And as always, if you are looking for us on our YouTube platform, Tribe Talk One Word Radio Show. If you'd like to advertise your company, products, or like to be a sponsor on our or an interview on our show, you can do it two ways. You can either send us an email at contact at tribetalkradioshow.com, or you can visit our website, tribetalkradioshow.com. Click on the contact drop-down button, and you can choose your option up under that button.
Yeah. So, we would like to thank today's show sponsor, Temple Vitality Foundation. Temple Vitality Foundation is a 501c3 organization, nonprofit, with a mission to bring awareness to mental illness and help transition these individuals to a state of independence through healthy living. So, Temple Vitality Foundation is proud to announce, we're going to actually give you a little tip into Temple Vitality Foundation. Hey! So it's a family-owned organization. We are the co-founders, we're the staff members, along with part of our extended family.
Yes.
Our mother actually is the executive director, also co-founder. So we have a special connection to this organization. So we have an upcoming event. We're so excited to announce that we are partnering with Carolina United Flag Football Club to co-host the exclusive holiday party for a cause fundraiser event. This will be taking place December 14th at Duke University's Cameron Indoor Stadium. There are a lot of things that are going to be included with this event. There's going to be a red carpet reception, art gallery, silent auction, gourmet buffet dinner, giveaways, DJ, live music featuring Janelle Simone and Uptempo Band, along with Good Vibes Band. And who's Good Vibes Band?
That's my husband's band, RJ Hatton. Go find him on Instagram.
So we're excited about that. To find out more and to purchase your ticket, visit holidaypartyforacause.eventbrite.com. To find out more about Temple Vitality Foundation, visit templevitality.org, or you can visit us on Facebook as Temple Vitality Foundation.
Woo! Right. Yes.
It's going to be fun, guys.
It's going to be a good time. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
You saw we were grinning that whole time.
Yeah, it's
we're
gonna be
really
fun.
excited.
Yeah, we like to party for a cause.
We just like to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So party for a cause?
Yeah, man.
Heck
Do
yeah.
this.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about marriage.
Yes.
Who wants to start on this beautiful, beautiful morning? Let's start with who's been married the longest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, why not, right?
Oh, you want to start with me?
No, we can start with marriage. We can start with me. You know, I'm ready.
Stay ready, so you have to get ready.
Yes.
Hey.
So, yes, I've been married for 16 years to my husband. I think what makes it interesting about our marriage and this conversation is, you know, when they say you can't have love at first sight.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't believe in that, really. But, and people think that that's what happened, I guess, with us, because we met each other, and then 3 months later, we were married.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, so it seems like love at first sight. I mean, you know, but I didn't get all giddy. It wasn't that type of thing.
Right.
But because we we did some of the things we're going to talk about today in this conversation before we had already did our work, and we done the work. And then when we first got together, we had these candid conversations.
Yeah.
That's why we knew by the time we knew we were ready to be married, I knew this was the one.
Yeah.
And 16 years later, we're still married, and we have a pretty good relationship. All praises. We took work, it takes work, but because of the things we said in the beginning, and because of our foundation, we stuck to the plan. It's like having I'm not gonna say marriage is a business, but it's like approaching it like that. You know, having a plan. Having an executive summary when you first meet.
Well,
that's what we did.
Yeah.
I was never playing any games, and I was just not even looking for a relationship. I wasn't even looking for a relationship. So I wasn't desperate. He was looking for a wife though, but he wasn't desperate either, because the thing he did with me was he gave me his number and said, everybody said, what did you mean? We met at the mall. I was hanging out with one of my girls, Cassandra, one of my
I remember this
sister
so
friends.
well.
And she was like, come on, let's get you out. And I wasn't even really in a place to do any of that. I just wasn't in that mindset. And so we went out that night, and we actually were handling some business. We were doing some business. And then we ran up on him and somebody else we knew. I didn't know him, but I knew the person that he was with. So we were going to approach him. Just talking to him.
Right.
And I always hear like this. And this dude started talking to me.
This
My husband.
dude.
I was like, who's this dude, right? And so, to make a long story short, out the gate, he started saying some things, I guess, that I knew I needed to hear, but he didn't know that. See, because the things that he was saying to me was totally different from what I was used to. I was used to guys approaching me in a sensual, sexual manner, trying to touch me, touch my face and stuff, and like, get off me, get away from me. That's usually what I would do. Yeah. This guy was just talking, and it was almost like, take it or leave it, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? That was different. And then he gave me his number to end the conversation. I was like, I don't take the dude's number. I don't call guys. They call me. And so then what happened was he ended up giving his number, and he said, well, if you're interested, call me. So he wasn't desperate either. He knew what he was looking for. He told me that night he was looking for a wife. And it was crazy. And I was just like, this guy is crazy, approaching me like this. But it worked out. I knew that he was serious from the get-go. And he walked it every single day. I watched him. I paid attention to everything he said and did, and I already knew what I wanted, and I knew what I needed. That's another thing. I knew what I needed, and I needed certain things, and he had it. So, make long story short, 16 years later, we have 3 kids: a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old girl, a 10-year-old boy, and a 5-year-old daughter. And so, we're doing the best we can. He's been in he comes from a family that's been married before his father passed, they were married for 44 years. So he comes from longevity. I come from, our parents have been divorced, but I was 17 when they were divorced, and I saw a solid foundation.
They were together for 21 years.
They were together for 21 years, and so my foundation is solid as well. So I think that has to. So, anyway. I mean, we're doing it all here. Try to talk. But
she's important.
I think that's the I just want to start off. I guess that's what you guys wanted me to talk about, basically how we started. So that's how we started. We had a lot of candid conversations, and we still have those straight conversations, and we are what we say we are. We practice what we want. So whatever our expectations are, we actually practice it.
Right.
And I thought it was crazy because when we first got together, I'm one of those strong women. Like, we're going to talk about Fantasia a little bit and some of the things she said. We get it when she kept saying, I'm a strong woman. She's saying, we call it strong-headed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She's saying, I can be strong-headed. I know what I want. I'm not a doormat. But what I like about it, the same some things she said, my husband showed me some things that made me say, oh, I can trust.
Yeah.
I can submit.
Let that go.
I can let it. Yeah, we can flow because that's what he needs. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think he knew when he met me that day. He met a strong woman because, like I said, I don't call dudes. Right. That was his first indication of knowing you're not dealing with somebody. That's that type of woman.
Yeah, I like that. I want to say so much to that, but I guess I'll talk about me. But I want to talk about how real quick. Your first impression is everything, and a lot of you attract who you are. So a lot of women, we want to attract. You all want to single women. You want to attract a certain caliber of a man, but you're not putting that off. Right. So you immediately show him, this is who I am. Like, he came correct with you.
Yeah.
So I think I love that. Okay. So with me, I have known my husband since childhood, actually. I've known of Derek since elementary school, and our parents actually, his dad, and my mom and dad actually went to school together. My sister and his sister were best friends. Him and my brother were friends, so we kind of grew up together. So my husband was always a friend. He was always a guy I was comfortable with, familiar with. His family would invite us over for gatherings. Throughout college, we remained friends. I had a guy I was dating for 7 years, and my husband was somebody that, again, never crossed the line. I would just, bounce ideas off of, come through, kick it, nothing, relationship wise. So there became a moment when I became single, and he basically, told me how he's always felt about me, but he could never cross that line because I always had a boyfriend. He always respected that. And so he's like, yo, I'm getting ready to move. My husband, if y'all meet him, not scream, but he told me,
this is it. That's all you have to do.
This is it.
Right. So he's like, yo, this is how I feel about you. You rolling, you're not rolling. And I'm like, okay. But I knew that about him. So he basically put it out there, and I was like, oh, okay. So I had, again, about a year and a half, gotten out of a serious relationship, and I promised God the next guy that I got serious with would be my husband. So I didn't want to say yes because I was so familiar with him to that. I wanted to make sure it made sense. So I prayed about it. I actually went to church, I think a couple days after that, talked about it, ended up saying yes, let's try this, let's make this happen. We're friends, we have a good foundation. Been married again this February would be 12 years, and we've evolved together. I can consider him my best friend. To those women, I will address today, by him being of someone I've known my whole life and being my best friend, sometimes I get too comfortable with him as my husband, and I have to remember that's my husband. That's not my that's my homeboy, but he's not my homeboy, And so there's a balance in having that longevity and that familiarity with each other. But yeah, we've been in business together. We've traveled together. We've tried to live our best life together. We are together 12 years in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, that's how we came about.
Cool how each marriage is 4 years apart.
Yeah.
Oh, like 8, 12, 16.
Yeah.
I don't
12
know.
years February. I think y'all just celebrated 16 years.
We just celebrated 16.
We just celebrated 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so my story is a little different from theirs. Just a little bit. Won't give you all those details, but I will be honest. So, I've sort of known my husband since childhood as well. That's a little complicated, but I've known him since childhood as well. I'll say through church primarily. I was actually engaged before I started even befriending my husband in a more romantic way. So I had just come out of an engagement, and then the next year, like a month or so later, is when my husband RJ and I started to become friends, like adult friends, not childhood friends. And that our first year of our friendship and dating was a little more confusing, not so clear as I wasn't so sure as my sisters were before they approached the situation. I was 21? I turned 21 during that year. I was very young still. Coming out of a 2-3 year relationship. I think it was a 2-year relationship where I was engaged, first serious relationship. So I wasn't so clear in the head at that time, and neither was my husband. And I think he'll be fine with me saying that because it's the truth. So I mean, I'm just saying, we're very honest people. We're pretty transparent.
Yeah.
So our first year to year and a half was a little bit of a lot of in and out. We liked each other a lot. We were like best friends though, which is the weird thing. We were best friends that wanted a relationship, but because he didn't really know exactly what he wanted, it dragged on a little longer than it needed to. But I can say that he told me that. And that's something that I do want to talk about as we get into this conversation. My husband was actually honest with me about a lot of things early on in our relationship, and there were some things that I didn't want to accept. And so because of that, things took longer than they needed to. Some things happened, or there was hurts and pains and emotions that needed to be dealt with that really I probably didn't have to deal with had I just listened to what the man had to say. All that said, we ended up dating total for about 2 years or so. We ended up getting married, and 8 years later, we lived out of state. We moved away from my family for about 4 years. probably one of the hardest things that I'd ever done. But I grew a lot in my marriage then. I grew a lot as a woman then. But 8 years later, trials and tribulations later, ups and downs later, we have 3 beautiful children. I have a 4-year-old son, a 3-year-old son, and a 1-year-old baby girl. She's grown.
Yeah.
She's grown.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so and I can honestly say that we try to take everything that we've gone through and be very honest with other people that we talk to. We do talk to a lot of people who are close to our age who are looking to get married and all of that stuff. And we're very transparent as possible without like, you know what I'm saying, destroying, you can't tell all your business.
Right.
But we really try, we've learned from a lot of mistakes, very valuable lessons, and our goal is to really share that with people. So be on the lookout for how we decide to share that.
Right.
But yes, so that's me and RJ, 8 years. And there's a lot of golden nuggets there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's us.
Awesome. So one of the reason this conversation came up is we actually did a show where we were talking about pre-marriage dating. I think it multi-dating.
Yes.
And I remember us kind of going through a checklist of things that we wanted to share with women who were like, I want to date. I'm not quite sure like what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find myself. So you've heard our story, 16, 12, 8 years of marriage. Different paths, found our husbands, so-called found different ways. So now we're going to dive into tips, resources, lessons we've learned. And then we're also going to tap into some things that are, trending right now, conversations.
So I guess when it comes to the tips, like I said, from my own foundation and my experience before my fiance, my husband, I also was engaged. I had been engaged as well. And I had come out of before after that I was in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
It was bad. I mean, so I was damaged. But I recognized that, and I think that has a lot to do with our foundation in church and the things we learned about just soul ties and relationships and things like that. And so I decided to, before like I said, I met him, I went on like a purge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I didn't, cause my thing is, I didn't want to carry any preconceived notions, any experiences and hurts into my next relationship.
Baggage.
Yeah, any baggage. And I had to recognize that, it takes two in every relationship, right? And I had to realize, well, maybe what I did to allow the treatment, you know what I'm saying? What I did also to possibly, to offend or whatever the other person or whatever it is. But I had to learn my main thing is I was like, I want to purge. That was my mindset. That's when I said I did my work before I met him. Because before I met him, when he met me, he was in a relationship for 5 years. He was engaged to be married. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he was in a relationship and then he had broke up and he was out of that relationship for a year and a half. And so he did his work, but he knew what he wanted. Right, and for me, I knew my work was I had to let go of pain because I didn't want to take that into this relationship. So purging was important for me. I had the same mindset that you said when you said that you knew that you wanted to focus. You had told God some things, and for me personally, I literally said these words: "I'll just be single the rest of my life, before I deal with any more." They say silly women, but I'm talking about silly men. You know what I'm saying? Before I deal with that mindset and lower my standards, I'll just be single. And I literally had just told God that.
Yeah.
And then I remember Mom saying, well, don't you put another ring on your, no, I put another ring on your finger. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't you get engaged. No more. And I was like, I know. I was like, okay, they're coming to me. And that's why I was like, dude said, call dudes, because I was kind of used to that approach. But in our dating stage, we literally sat down and we talked about hard things. We talked about our previous relationships. We talked about our future, our goals. What are we doing right now? In the process to meet those goals. We talked about dreams.
Yeah.
Because I want to know where you're going. Where are you going in life? Because I need to make sure that where you're going is so big that I can go there too, and it won't affect your ego. You know what I'm saying? It won't affect your journey.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, it's okay. But so yeah, I want to know about. We talked about children because children were very important to me, and how we were going to rear these children.
Not
I
children.
didn't say it right.
She said we talked about children.
Talked about children, but we talked about having children and what that looked like, and then how we're going to raise. And we actually made a decision that we were not going to have any children until we knew we were on the same page, because we weren't on the same page about some things. You know what I'm saying? So how you manage money, like all of those things. And I think because we had already been in very serious relationships beforehand, we already knew what we talked about in the multi-dating, what works and what don't work. Because I had multi-dated or had been in previous relationship, I knew what I did want.
Right.
And so at least that, and then we went from there. So I think one of the tips I would say is, you got to know you and know what you want.
Right. That's a big tip.
That's huge, because everybody, just because you have a good time, you have fun together and those things, doesn't mean you're compatible.
Yeah.
Compatibility is major.
Yes.
Do you enjoy each other's time? Because he came to see me every single day. For a whole year, we were together every single day. Besides when he went over the road, that's when he went over the road. Then that's know. But then he even flew me out there for our Christmas. But that's how I knew we were compatible or not. We had to spend time together at my family's house, at his family's house. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that to me.
To see him in different lights,
different environments.
Good.
With friends and things like that.
Not just you two.
I wanted to get y'all opinion.
Yeah.
Y'all were like, so. And this is another thing. You got to be willing to hear what other people have to say. Because my sisters were actually showing me that maybe I was a little too sharp or jagged. I was still jaded. You know what I'm saying, from my relationship. They were like, why are you talking to him like that? He didn't, really. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, relationships take work and communication is important, but it's important sometimes. I didn't know that he didn't say anything, but they were saying, don't talk to him like that. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just what. Now I'm not that type of this person, but I was just like, this is what I want. This so. Don't talk to me like. Don't call me. And he was very sweet. He's a very nice, very low key guy. He's very low key. And so they helped me out. They helped me. They helped the sister. My tribe helped me out. And then I realized, and I took a back seat, and I started to, like I said, I didn't want to bring certain things into the relationship, but I still had a certain mindset, saying that God's a certain way, and he didn't show any of those traits, yet I still didn't see what I needed to see on the other end. So I almost lost out on that one.
I think that's why it's important to spend that time, though.
Yes.
Like you were saying, a lot of us want to jump into like relationships, but you haven't spent time with that person to get to know, see them in different lights, and I feel like that's important. I know for me, I had a checklist. I know I'm a very compliant person. I knew, but this is scary. The checklist, though, be careful. Thank God my checklist was honored, but be careful because sometimes you can have a checklist, and because they don't meet everything on there, you're writing them off. So there's an 80-20 rule. I'm sure everybody's seen Tyler Perry movie. We all have heard about it. Where if they meet 80% of your 100, my goodness, I mean, nobody's perfect. You can work with the 20%. You're not perfect.
Yes.
So understand that just like they're bringing things in, they have standards for them. Hopefully, if they don't, you shouldn't be considering them for marriage. But they have standards for them, and then you want to bring in your standards, and y'all work together and communicate. But I had a checklist, and it's so funny because I remember standing on my balcony at home, talking to my husband. He was in Florida, I was here, and this is when we were in that moving from friendship to dating stage. And I remember him just talking. I always knew my husband had a plan. I mean, my goodness, being friends, he would just, talk to me about things. So I was like, whoever gets him, they're going to be great. They're going to be set. They're going to be straight, But the other things I needed to know, like at the time, I was, really heavy into church and tithing. I'm like, he's got to tithe. He's got to pray. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be able to.
That's on the list.
I'm not laughing at the fact that that's what it was just.
I know.
I'm
sorry.
We get it. Yeah, I definitely get it.
We get it.
No, I get it. So I was
on the
like,
list.
you got to be able to do this, and for me, it wasn't like. It wasn't surface things of like. Oh, he has to be able to hold me close, but I want to make sure he could take care of his mind. He was physically active. He loved working out. He could go, just love. I love music. You have to love music, So certain things just really matter to me, and I had that checklist. And as he was talking, I was like, check, check, check. And God, literally at the end of that checklist, He said, "That's your husband."
Question though, did you write? You wrote it out?
I didn't write out.
She said she was true. I was like, she really had a checklist.
No.
I mean, a real checklist.
Some people do.
Some people do. I mean,
good guy. I just knew going to the next level, there was a little bit more I wanted added on. And so know what you want, I would say. Have conversations, talk. When Derek and I first got engaged, which we were engaged for 6 months, he proposed to me July. We were married by February.
So we married.
No, I'm lying. No, we started. I'm sorry. We started dating in July 15th. We got engaged February, and I was married that same month.
So
Yes.
we like the short
Yeah, it was short.
Yeah.
It was short.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
it was. So all my family knew
Yeah.
that in February I had gotten engaged February
And then
14th.
you had your ceremony.
And then I had my ceremony
In June.
later on that June. So, but again, Derek and I had so much history. And with the communication, we had a lot of communication. We was talking a lot, so we knew. But yeah, I would say spend time together, know what you want, and there was somewhere else I was going with that. But yeah, so we
And you said still have a little flexibility because
yes.
they might not meet all.
Yes.
everything.
Oh, the
So when we
80-20,
were
yeah.
dating, when we were dating and getting really serious, I think this is when, like, right before I didn't know he was about to propose to me, we were talking about money. I was transparent with him. I trusted him enough for him to know how much I made and what my credit cards were, what I had paid off. He wanted to come in and take over, the budgeting. And I, being the strong person I was like, no, you're not taking over the budgeting. Like, I do this and I do it very well. But I also knew he handled his business. So I was like, okay, 2 heads in the house, we're gonna butt heads. Okay, I'll let you take it, but we're gonna be transparent. So I know everything, I see everything. But I decided to submit. We'll talk about submission. I decided to submit to that aspect because he's a boss with money, just like I'm a boss with money. So I'm not bringing somebody in who I can't trust and relax in that.
Right.
So that was a huge thing that I was like, no, I gave him a hard time. Why you gotta take over the money? He was like, I got this, I can handle this, So we talked, so I think just that communication, having those real conversations up front.
Real.
I mean, everything. Like, you don't wanna.
No, everything.
Everything. No, everything.
I mean,
In this day and time.
Everything.
I mean,
Everything.
when I say everything,
Okay,
I
let
mean
me
like
say-
everything that's important to relationships.
relationships
Yeah.
and growing and
Growing.
involving it, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Credit score,
Yeah. I'm trying to
even
think what would not be included in everything.
Well, I mean, like some past things, like in
Okay.
past relationships, some things that
Yeah,
aren't
not
pertinent.
those don't come up.
Yeah.
Up
Yeah.
front. You
Yeah.
gotta build
Yeah.
to
But
get
you've
to
been in
something
if
else.
you've been in an abusive relationship and you have an issue of trust, listen.
Yeah.
If you don't call me every night by 10, dude, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
That way you give him an option whether or not he wants to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna touch on too when you finish.
Yeah. Family traditions. Like that was
Yeah.
Derek and I, real quick.
Mhm.
Both of our families are here. I think all of our families. All of us are here.
Yeah.
For the most part.
His mom has her traditions and my mom had our traditions, and we had most marriages. You have to find out how to marry those.
Yeah.
We're gonna go here first,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna travel here. Well, we always go to your family. And it's just like stressful. I would say that just to be transparent.
And 5
to the
kids
world.
trying to figure it out
5
between
kids.
siblings.
Yes.
On this end.
And both of our
Yes.
mothers who are have their traditions and their things that they're family oriented wanted their kids there at a certain time, and it's just trying to figure that out.
They're not willing to bend, so you gotta figure out how to bend.
Right. And so that I would say
knew
was
that.
our biggest. Derek and I was family. That was our biggest challenge. We didn't have. I'm just being transparent with the world. Lord have mercy. But it wasn't like bedroom issues. It wasn't money. It was those things. So you have to talk about everything.
Yeah.
That's good.
Lord help us.
So I have
that
a
down.
bunch to start with, but I want to
Yeah,
kind of
that's
start in
exactly
the
down.
same vein that they were just in, talking about everything and purging, right? Kind of go hand in hand with what I'm about to say because my situation was a little bit different. I came literally straight from an engagement, and there was a horrible relationship that I was in. It was mentally and somewhat physically abusive, and I went from being a very confident female to like feeling like what. And so at that time was when I met my husband. But I want to say that purging is very, very, very key, especially in situations. I mean, coming out of any relationship, I think purging is key because you really need to get rid of that other person.
Right.
But purging is key because you do carry baggage, you do carry hurt, and in an instance like mine, I kind of lost myself. I didn't know what was right and what was wrong, and I was going through other things, even outside of my relationship. There were other things going on in my life that had confused some things for me, had a lot of blurred lines going on. So what happened is for me in that time, I transitioned so quickly that I didn't see clearly. I wasn't hearing clearly. I just kind of wanted to feel better, right? And a lot of people would say that's rebound, and I wouldn't necessarily completely say that my husband was rebound because we went so long just being friends. But I think I was attracted to him sooner in that emotional way than I normally would have been had I not gone through everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Everything I had just gone through.
Yeah.
So this is a purging is like detrimental sometimes to your own health and to the health of your next relationship because you can end up in a relationship that you have absolutely no business being in because that person, not saying necessarily this about RJ, but for anybody, that next person could just show a little bit of improvement, but not actually be better than the last, but just a little bit of improvement, and then you're falling for them. You're like, oh, this is the best person ever, but really they're still treating you the exact same way. Or you're just, even if they're a good person, a good guy or whatever, you're just not meant for them. And they're just not meant for you. And because you don't have a clear head and you don't know who you are, like you lost yourself in a last relationship, you feel like, oh, this is just, you get lost. And you end up really wasting a lot of time.
Or you run them off.
That's big too.
That was almost my case.
Yeah, and you can. Like you can easily run because of everything that you have going on. Like and that's where the conversations come in too, right? So you need, if you don't know where you are mentally and emotionally, that's gonna be a problem. But sometimes conversations help you figure out where you are mentally and emotionally. Him asking you questions, you asking him questions, and y'all are sitting there like, oh wait, I don't really. No, you do what? I don't know if I can live with that for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like honestly, you have to ask yourself, can I live with that for the rest of my life? Go ahead. So you want to say something?
No, yeah. Are you done?
No.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. It looked like it was really good. So I didn't want you to forget it.
So with that, okay, here's the scary part that some women deal with. What if I tell somebody all my business and we don't work out? My stuff is in the street.
Let's talk about that. But that's the thing. I personally don't think that you have to tell all your business in order to communicate. Also, I think there's a certain timeline that you have before you start revealing. There's some things that you reveal, and as you get deeper, you reveal more and more. And I think if you've taken time to purge and you've taken time to cleanse and you have gotten your mind to a place where you have some sense of discernment, which is that's when you probably should be dating. So all of that matters, right? That's how you kind of know. You start to figure out. You observe that person. You start to figure out what can I tell them, what can I not tell them. Spending time with them around other people tells you what can I trust them with, what can I not trust them with. What are they telling me about other people? What are they telling me about the person they dated? And that kind of gives you a sense of who that person
what
is.
What are they telling about their mom or how they feel with their daddy, their relationships with the people that they're intimate with in their life.
And only give information that you are actually comfortable giving. And you have to think, if I'm not comfortable telling this person this,
in this moment,
in this phase, like why not? And when do I think I'll be able to?
Now, see, that's the thing that I'm sorry.
No. This is what we're here for.
Been going on, but
it's okay.
But that's the thing. The thing that pops in my head is the why not?
Yes.
See, because if I have to have a question mark, back in the day, I wouldn't pay attention to the question mark. But to me, the question mark is a flag. I always say a flag on the play. It pauses the game for me
every time.
And so the question is why not? And a lot of times, when we're young, when we're dating or we're desperate, and I say desperate, we just don't want to be alone anymore. We just want to, we'll have those question marks, and then we'll kind of like set them to the side. And then we have the question mark. Okay, set it to the side. And the thing is, it's like if I have, when you're looking to, we date to marry. Now I don't think we said that.
But we said it in that
other one. But we were dating to marry. We already knew that when we dated to marry. Even though we may multi-date, I'm not gonna date anybody who don't even fit, at least put marriage material. So when I'm talking to you, when I was having conversations with you, having with me, I'm always listening and observing to see.
Can I live with that?
Can I live with that?
Life type thing.
And if I multiply by, this is what helped me get in my other relationship. When I multiply by 10, if I can't handle the worst thing about that person by 10, then I needed to get out because you're gonna have those levels of emotion.
Marriage takes you to that level.
It takes you to that level. And so I knew then that I couldn't handle that person's 10 and those things. But I just want to say those question marks, and the main question mark is why? Why can't I have that conversation with you? Then you need to start analyzing that. Is it the temperament of the person? Is it the trustworthiness of the person? Is it the integrity of the person?
What is it about that person?
That thing that needs to be scratching you. That needs to be under your skin until you get
figure
that
it out. And don't
can't
go
scratch
anywhere
that
else
itch.
until you figure that out.
You can't figure that out. You need to get out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to. That's so important because that's the problem. A lot of times we go into things with our eyes wide shut. We have our eyes closed, and we go into these relationships.
So
We
we
see
have
these
other things
flags,
open.
but we won't deal
We're not
with
doing anything with them.
Wait,
So,
okay.
Question marks, flags.
Before I forget, somewhat related to the question marks in my personal relationship, my husband told me that he was not ready to be with me. And this is big, right? The way he told me is not necessarily relevant per se. I wouldn't say that, but I will say that I learned through this that a lot of times in many situations, guys are very upfront. It's just we don't hear them the way that we should because we're focused on other things like, oh, and he buy me this and he gonna do this and I'll change. Yes, I'll change him. He'll change. He gonna change for me, girl, because I got this and I got that and I know how to do. Honey, no. But he was very honest with me about that, and I think this kind of goes with, like, one, I asking myself, well, why? Why is he saying this?
Right.
And then why am I okay with this? Why am I okay continuing a relationship with someone who doesn't even really know? And it wasn't like the kind of, I don't know, as if like he was multi-dating and being open about that. He really just didn't know, and he was being young in a lot of ways. And so I really should have, at that point, I honestly should have been like, okay, let's just cool off, let's not really whatever. But I should have asked myself, why am I willing to go back and forth with the person who's already told me that maybe this might not work out in the end, right? Sometimes, and I've talked to other women who have done the same things, and it doesn't always end up like RJ and I have ended up. Sometimes it's terrible, you know what I'm saying? And they go through so much, and they don't have to go through all of this stuff. But I think that's big. Like, listen to what he's saying, and hopefully he'll listen to what you're saying. If he's telling you that he's not ready, and you know in your mind that you want somebody that's ready to fully commit to you, that's ready to put a title on it, that's ready to get married in X amount of time, like you know what's on your list, you know what's in your heart, you know what you pray for, and they're sitting right there telling you that that's not what they want. Listen to them. When someone shows you who they are, listen to them. Doesn't necessarily make him a bad person because he told you. Right?
That's what you want.
And so then you are accepting everything that comes after that once you start giving yourself to that person in so many different ways. Like, they already kind of told you. Like, and you're giving yourself thinking you're going to change them. That's not what's going to change them.
Right. That's good.
So,
man,
I think that's really big. Fortunately, we figured some stuff out, and it took marriage to figure some other things out. Like, later on in the marriage is when some things got figured out. But we could have saved each other and ourselves a lot of frustration, heartache, and emotional breakdown somewhere within that 8 years had we just did it right from the beginning. And I think that's big. I have no problem telling anybody that because I don't want anybody else to have to go through that. That is my truth. I love them. I love them now.
and I love that because love, in love,
love and hate.
That's almost a whole nother show.
It is, but that's the big deal. Listen to what the person has to say. Ask those questions. Have the conversation. Believe what is being told to you when it's stuff like that. You can't always believe everything, but stuff like that, the serious things, believe them. Don't think, oh, he's just saying that because that other girl was in his face the other day. Like, no, believe what that man is saying to you, because it'll help him and it'll help you. Make it easy for him. Yeah,
that's good.
So
I want to refer to, before we get into the Fantasia, I want to refer to something that I saw on Exo Nicole. Tiffany, how you say it?
Exo Nicole. I think so.
Yeah, Exo Nicole. So, why are women accepting bare minimum as bae material? Okay. So, bare minimum Twitter. I was like, what the heck is bare minimum Twitter? Has become a thing. It's triggering. Women are tweeting about simple things that they claim to be relationship goals, and many commenters are calling them out about their choice of standards. So somebody tweeted, "What's cooler than being cool? Bare minimum Twitter. My boyfriend making eye contact with me. Oh my God, he's making eye contact with me. Oh my God." So, And then also, okay, so it exists as a result of the prevalence of guys out here who put in less effort than what is being tweeted about. Long story short, I'm gonna keep going down. Have we gone so far down the abbey that a man opening the door for us, calling us by our name and texting us back is subject to praise? When did basic behavior start becoming the bar for Bay material? Are we convincing ourselves that we are not settling? So then it talks about some of the things. Let's see. Membership card to bare minimum club began to sparkle under the Enlightenment. A lot of men I have been dating were admitted a pass because of the minimal requirements of respect I have for myself. So these are some of the headlines in the article that stood out. Call me a hopeless romantic, but I want a type of love that feels like poetry to my soul and wine to my bloodstream. Know what you bring to the table. So these are just tips that they're giving in the article. Know what your standards are and abide by them. Make sure the people in your life who reflect and hold you accountable. Make sure the people in your life who reflect and hold you accountable. I guess what they're saying is make sure who you're bringing in your life is a reflection of that. Observe how much energy and effort a man put into things. I do want to tap on that. I am learning that there's a difference between low maintenance and low standards. That's good. We need to stop confusing standards with preferences and confusing our assertiveness of those standards as being too much, because a man's criticism is rooted in his inability to perform and deliver. So we can tap on those if you all want to. I want to tap on how much a man puts into things, right? So men are, more men than not, are about things. Like they show they love a woman by the things they can do for her. They want to buy the things and do the things. Of course, it depends on your love language. Who wrote the book? The love languages. I can't remember his name. I probably should know that.
It's Chapman.
Sorry, we're putting.
Okay,
we'll figure it out. But there are love languages, so know your love languages, know your partner's love language. But men typically will buy things for you. Look at how much energy he's putting into things. If he's Gary Chapman, that's who it is. If he's going out with the guys every weekend, but then he's spending time with you like once a weekend, but he's claiming he loves you, like bring that to the forefront and say, okay, well, where are we fitting in this? Because as you get married, things are going to happen. You're going to get busier as you all take on things. So you want to see how much time he's putting into those things he loves, and he says he loves you. So you want to make sure there's balance in that.
Because anything he loves, he puts his time in.
Yeah.
The average, most men are like very focused.
Yeah.
And so what they love or what they have, what they're focused on, that's what their heart is, right? And that's what their treasure is. That man's heart is, so his treasure is also, right? So if you are his treasure, if you are his heart, his treasure will be on you. His time will be in you. But if he doesn't have time for you, then that's a sign. He's not going to have time. It's going to get. See, when you get married. You said something about comfortability earlier. So when you get married, for us, we weren't friends that long. But of course, 16 years, we're friends, we're best friends. We're comfortable with each other. So the more comfortable you get with a person, the more you have to work on things, right? The more you have to work on things. So, and that's when some of the other things that didn't show up during dating, that's when it all comes out, because now you relax. You're not just showing your best side, you're showing all sides. So, so all that energy that he's putting into something before the marriage, I can almost guarantee if he's doing that and while you're dating, it's just going to get worse. Yeah. It's going because now once he has you, so he doesn't have to. He's like, and he's gonna say, I was already doing that when you met me.
Right.
So why have to change all of a sudden? Right. That's not going to change women. Men are usually their core by the time they're 18 years old, maybe 21. That's their core of who they are. A person's their core of who they are. That is not going to change. Fundamentally, those things are going to change. They may add little things around. They may spice. It may change a little bit for you, but that will change. They'll bend a little bit.
Yeah.
We are the ones who change. We're the ones who adapt. That's why we have to be a little bit more flexible, because they're not.
And I want to hit on that because women, it's important to not be jealous, not be overjealous of his time. That if he's with you every weekend and wants to step away, my goodness, give that man that time, because men don't like to feel smothered and trapped. Those are the conversations that you also want to have. Hey, I want to go out and spend some time with the boys. All right, cool. Here are the standards. And I think it boils down to communication. Just knowing what he needs, knowing what you need for y'all to just thrive together. And you need that guy. He's going to need that guy time.
And the
he's
girls
not going to be stuck up on you all the time.
And I was about to say, and sometimes it's vice versa with Sorry.
That's because I said versa.
You did? Okay, I didn't hear it. Sometimes you can switch that. And is it versa? Versa.
Oh.
But sometimes the guy is the one who's more. I don't want to use the word clingy because I'm not trying to add a negative connotation to it. But he's the one that's more attached, or he wants to do more of the spending time together. And sometimes the female, she needs her girl time, right? And like it basically goes right back to that. Though. You have to communicate. And y'all need to know, like, okay, we can talk about this and establish a relationship and boundaries and trust to where, like, all right, let's balance some time out because I'm gonna be my best for you when I can get my time. And same for him. He's gonna be his best for you if you allow him his time. But if you guys aren't equal in that and y'all don't both constantly want to be with each other all the time, then somebody's gonna start feeling some type of way and it's gonna affect your relationship. And time spent is not gonna be as fun.
Right.
But if both of y'all like to be around each other all the time, go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah. What do y'all think about when they say opposites attract? Because you said something about not wanting to be together all the time, things like that. What I found is a lot of times with these relationships, think of yin and yang. I think opposites attract. One person is the more touchy feely, the more social. One social touchy feely.
Yeah.
Is what I call it, and it might not be the right word for affectionate.
Affectionate.
I'll tell you my age, but one person more.
Which one is affectionate?
Yeah. So one's more affectionate, and one is not. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what makes. I think opposites. When they say opposites attract, I think that's what it means because if you both are the same, that's like the poles, right? The same, you repel each other, and so I think
you bring balance to one another.
Yeah,
that's the yin and the yang, right? I don't really know all about the yin and the yang.
Me either.
My assumption is it's supposed to bring balance to each other.
Something like that. But then, are there traditional roles caught up in that? Like, is there something traditionally?
I mean, no. What do you mean?
Because
it's like the woman traditionally more affectionate than the man.
I mean, because
I would say segue into traditions.
Oh, gotcha.
So stereotypically, possibly. However, I would venture to say that in my experiences, that's not always the case. We grow up differently, and I think that's what kind of determines who's more affectionate and who's not. Your lifestyle and how you've grown up, your environment kind of has a lot to do with how affectionate you are with your significant other or with people in general. So that's not, I mean, it can be a female who grew up in a home where her parents parents weren't the most affectionate for whatever reason, and so with her significant other, she's not a hugger, she's not a kisser, I don't want to cuddle. I mean, and she's good with that. So I don't think that's a role thing, but that can go with many things. The way you grow up affects how you conduct your relationship in a lot of ways, at least how you started out.
So when the people are dating, a lot of times women may say, I thought you're supposed to buy me flowers, or you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to do that.
Some women don't like flowers.
There you go.
I'm about to say supposed is a big word here because according to who am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to love you, care for you, make sure you're good and all of that? Yes. Am I supposed to go buy you flowers when I make you mad, or just because? No, I might want to do something else to show you that I love you.
Right. But
supposed
okay.
to.
So let's say you want to do something else. So that's the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. That's part of what he was talking about. Somebody's love language may be service, and another love language may be gifts. So you may feel like, well, you love me, I like for you to cook or clean or open the door or do whatever.
Yeah.
And the other person is like, no, buy me a brand new bag. Buy me a brand new purse. That's going to make me happy. So you have to know, just because it's your love language doesn't mean it's that other person's love language. So you have to know what works for them doesn't work for you. I'm a quality time physical touch. I like quality time physical touch.
I just like it.
I enjoy a movie on the couch being cuddled all night.
I feel you.
My husband is more, I'm not going to tell his love language, but I know my husband's love language, So I have to, love him. I can want to cuddle up on him all day. What do you want? Get off me. What do you mean? And I'm like, baby, I love you, but that to me, he's like, do this. So I feel like I'm rambling, but long story short,
you're not rambling at all.
You're not rambling. That's a very good point.
It is a great point.
Yeah, but I just feel like you have to know what works for your partner. But to answer your question about compatibility or opposites attract,
and yes, opposites attract. And that's the first thing I said.
Yes, I think you have to have. I think you have to have compatibility in that. You have to like some things together.
Of course,
like
of course.
music or movies. You and your husband love movies.
Yeah, we movie.
You have some people like to travel. Like I remember Will and Jada saying Will loves to be out in nature, and Jada hates it. But once a year, he's like, he drags her along. You have to come with me, and she is miserable, but she's like, that's my husband. He's just happy having me there.
Right.
And she's like huge on Christmas and having everybody over. He's like, we do this every year. Why am I here?
Right.
And so he's like, I don't want to be here, but he's there because she wants. So I think you have to know, what makes them tick. But I love the opposites track. And Derek and I are opposites, but he's like brought my game up in so many ways. He's like rounded me out, and he's giving me street smarts. Derek is giving me street, and with me, I'm like, babe, tone it down.
RJ and I are very much opposites.
Yeah.
I know that now. Like we're like nothing alike, but we're exactly alike.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, we are both very weird.
Yeah.
And in that way, and we're proud of being weird, so you can go ahead and call us that. They know we're weird. We're very, very, very different. But we're very different from other people. But we're also very different from each other.
Yeah.
But I hated it at one point, and it made me so frustrated, and it angered me and then I thought to myself, like, why would I want to be with somebody who's just like me? That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know myself, and I'm not a bad person, but I know myself, and that's so like that, like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we're the same person, we can't sharpen each other. Like he has strengths that are my weaknesses.
Yes.
And he has skills that I don't have. He has interests that I don't have, and then I've learned to be more informed just because of his interest. Even if I don't take on that same interest, it makes me a more well-rounded person, wife, mother, friend,
and I think
sister.
that's what life is about. Y'all know I'm always talking about evolving. That's what marriage is about. That's what those relationships are about. If you're going to partner yourself with somebody for life, through business, when we're talking about marriage, make sure it helps you. It grows you.
Yes.
It builds your muscle. It challenges you. I don't think you should be fighting.
No.
Even if you don't physically fight, like verbally
That's a bad
fight,
sign
or if I see myself wanting to come at my husband a certain way, I have to check myself. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
so before you get married, challenge is one thing.
Yes.
Like challenge is in challenging me to do better.
Yes.
To be better.
Yes.
To step up. Those things, those are very good. You want people in your life like that.
Right.
But challenge is in stressing you out and you want to fight. And
the challenge should not make you feel negatively.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be like, I never saw it that way. It shouldn't be, you never tried this, you're stupid. Like, what are you?
Facts.
Right. Watch the words. Those are the red flags.
That's
Watch
right.
the words they use when they're frustrated with you, when they're irritated with you, when they are pissed off at you.
Yes.
Just kind of watch those red flags.
Yep.
I don't think you can go wrong, but my husband's challenged me in many ways for the good, and during the moment I'm like, I don't want to, kicking and screaming and fighting the whole time. Like, don't make me. But when I get through it, I'm like, like I'm better for it.
Yes.
And
That takes a willingness to listen to him. Even though in that moment you're fighting, I think
And
in
I'm
the back
like,
of the mind,
"I
you
don't
know
want to."
you're going to take some time to listen to what your husband has to say.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that speaks to who your husband is to you.
Right.
So that's the foundation.
good.
That's a
That's the-
foundation
yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Because to me, as part of the foundation, you need to be friends.
Yes.
That's
See,
exactly right.
You need to be friends at your foundation because you're going to go through some things that are going to challenge you as a person. It's going to challenge your relationship. It's going to challenge everything about you. So if you are friends at the foundation, you know you can get through anything as long as you got your friend. And you'll work. You won't use certain language. You won't speak certain things. You will not say certain things to this person because this person is your friend.
Right. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to break them down to that.
You want to break a friend because you're gonna need a friend to lift you up when you're down. Right. I think that's
good.
Going into and one of the tips is make sure that you're friends first. A lot of times it's backwards. People say I don't want to be with a friend, but when you have a best friend, that's who you want to be with because that person will accept you.
They already accept you.
In sickness and in health, you know what I'm saying, to death do you part. That's the friend, and then anything else is just gravy. Everything else is
it's
just
like
beautiful.
because what are you being with if you're not being with the friend? I don't understand.
Well, back in the day, to marriage is for business or shotgun marriage.
True. That's true.
I'm sorry.
There are several ways why people, will go into business. So some are, for shotgun. Back in the day, get pregnant, you have to hide it through marriage.
Some for religious reasons. Some arranged.
Speaking of religion, how do you all incorporate, because we're not religious, but we're spiritual, we believe in a higher power, the most high creator, Yahweh. So how do you all incorporate that into your marriage?
Oh, that's.
I
For
mean,
us.
I do too.
For us,
yeah.
That's
I'm
the
just
general
starting the
question.
conversation.
Yeah. I know for us, that was foundational.
Right.
When I met him, he was a quartet singer.
Bruh.
Bro was already in the quartet.
Bruh was in the quartet.
And he was the leader. He was the leader of the quartet.
3-piece.
And so, and that's his part. That's his
I love how he with the
right?
cummerbunds. Now he don't wear cummerbunds.
No. He wore suede suits though.
And gators, boy.
Oh, you was clean, baby.
Oh, he was clean with the gators and the suede suit and the.
Yes. So anyway, but it was part of the foundation. That's when I said
He wore suede
this
suits.
camera. So that's when I said people.
Join us on our YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. Make sure you guys can.
I'll take it.
Yeah, see us and stuff on YouTube as well. Usually that's somebody telling us something. But yeah, so it was in the foundation. We actually fasted for 7 days during our marriage. I mean, before we got engaged. The whole point of the fasting at that time was to literally kill the flesh, meaning fleshly desires and things like that, so that we could hear from God, and hear from our Creator. You know what I'm saying? Is this the person for me? So that was at the foundation, and we really waited for a word, and we got a word from someone who did not know us.
Right.
We actually visited another church. And that person had a guest speaker that day, and that guest speaker stood us up 3 times and spoke into our lives. Didn't know anything about us. Spoke about what he was doing at the time, which was a barber. Spoke about me dancing.
Yeah.
I guess it was some identification things.
Yeah.
God knew that he had to show that it was him. And I'm real strict about that. You can't talk to me. You can't be anybody that can't speak to me. And speaking to me like that.
Right.
So it was great.
It's me.
Yeah, it's me. I'm gonna tell you some things and how you know it's me. But he did say that we were meant to be together, and then some things that we were meant to do together, as far as our marriage would be like ministry,
right?
And that was spoken to us in the beginning. So it's a part of our foundation. It's a part of how we raise our children, and it is the defining theme in our life. So if we can't find a way to come to agreement, or if he needs to prove it to me, because I'm not from the show me state, but you would think I was. You know what I'm saying? He can show me in the Word.
Right.
It settles all.
Right.
Because I do believe the Bible.
Right.
So I do believe it, and being that is the book that we built, the book, but that is the instructions for life, basic instructions before you leave Earth. For us, then that is the defining factor. So if there's something that he would say, well, this is what the Word says, so I can say, well, this is what the Word says. Well, that settles that.
Yeah.
So then there's less arguing, because we have a rule book.
Right.
But if we were just living our life haphazardly, just any old way, it would be harder for us, because I'm a strong-headed person, and he's a man. He's a man's man. You know what I'm saying? Low key, laid back, but those are the ones you don't want to get mad.
That's right.
So you know what I'm saying. So that being the case, whenever we did have to find a way to agree on something, and usually, me, I'm the type of person. I was like, okay. Right. Just take it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got it, show it, prove it to me.
Exactly.
Make it work, and he would make it work. If he couldn't, he would always come back. He always come to me first. Actually, we always came first. But we pray over everything. You know what I'm saying? And so that's it, like I said, it was part of the foundation. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
I hope that answered the question.
No, that's good. We and I wanted to point that out, because I feel like you have to have something that is bigger than you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Something, because if the marriage is the end all be all, you have to have something that means more to you, that you all can piggyback on and go to for your source. So for Derek and I, we pray every morning. We touch and agree on some level before we leave the house. We go out into this crazy world, and so that's like a basis for us. Of course, we were raised in church. We even when we got married, we were in church, for a while. But we choose to still submit to a higher power,
right?
Who is omniscient, omnipresent, who knows all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Knows more than we know. Who can give us the answers?
And that's the last say.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Stop the argument.
Right. And no matter like who's king of the house,
That's
so to
right.
speak. Ultimately, there's a greater power, and so that's how we keep it in ours.
We have to answer to somebody higher than themselves.
That's right, always.
Yes, I stepped away for a second, but yes, and I may have to step away one more time. But with that, yes, I think if I'm understanding correctly, also submit to God. Biblically based. A lot of things are based on scripture. A lot of things that we've gone through, we found the answer in scripture. And so we're not a member of anybody's church or anything like that. But we believe the Bible. And so we pattern our marriage, especially now after we've been through some things, we pattern our marriage after what's been told to us and how we should do it. That's the easiest way to do it. That's the best way to do it versus patterning. But it's pattern.
Oh my gosh!
But it's
pattern.
But it's pattern.
It is patterning.
Patterning.
You're right. It's not patterning.
But we've been
Shots
saying
on radio
patterning.
show. You get the real thing.
I just want to make sure I say it right for y'all. But
Yeah.
you know, patterning.
It just sounds funny.
It does. It's weird. But you know, following somebody else's marriage, right? Because every marriage is different. But we apply the word to our marriage the way that it fits our marriage. We know our situations and all of that, and so we pray. We study together, all of that. I think it's important for everybody to be getting the same knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense for your husband to believe one way and for you to believe another way. That doesn't make any sense because you won't be on the same page. So, yeah.
So two other things real quick. I know we gotta wrap up. Mentorship, and let's talk about submission. Submission was supposed to be like the big.
Oh my gosh, that's the main thing.
I know.
Mentorship.
Can't do a part two.
Yeah, I know. I think it's important to get you some mentors,
Oh my God. Yes.
but make sure it's mentors that are
That's
That you
tricky.
both agree on.
And they have a reason to be mentoring you.
And
Like,
this
they're
is-
unbiased.
And this is me. Mentors that don't try to be perfect. Because I've seen
Yes.
mentors who are all buttons up and like, honey, we've been together 30 years.
And we
and
already
you
know that's
gotta,
a lie.
it's like, come on.
Well, I can't reach up.
No, I need the real. Y'all have, y'all gotta tell me everything. Y'all have arguments. Like,
Yeah.
what's up?
Like, yeah, she crazy too.
Yeah.
He crazy too.
Something, you know?
You know, I need to know I'm a normal person.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
I know we want to strive to have this. Nobody's perfect, and I think that's what Chop Talk is about too. Breaking down those perfect expectations.
Yes.
Can I ask
just
you this
live.
about
Keep it real.
mentorship,
Yes.
sort of counseling before marriage? Do y'all recommend it? Counseling, I'd say seeking counsel. Because counseling,
Always seek wise
some people
counsel.
think that you're supposed to go to a certain type of situation for counseling, so that's not always the case.
Because
Never
people
get on
put
that.
fake stuff.
Yeah. But seeking counsel
Yes.
before marriage,
Yes,
I think so, for
together.
sure.
Yeah.
Because you're going into something that you have never, if you've never been there, you've never been in there that before. And then even if you have been married before, when you get married to someone else, it's still a different situation.
Yeah.
So always seek counsel when you're
Yeah.
making something. You're talking about something that's life changing. Even when people get divorced, they say they feel a death. They feel like something died. Even if they wanted the divorce, they still feel death.
Yeah.
So seeking wise counsel is always something you should do.
Yeah.
And it should be somebody who what mark the perfect man, behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. So it should be someone who lives the life, at least in your view, of who is where you're trying to be. And someone who is transparent, because that's important. Not looking like they got it, but actually sit down and have those real hard conversations with you.
Yeah.
And deal with you.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about counseling that they don't do, I don't think, as well. They don't deal with things like if I'm gonna talk, when I talk to you, for instance, I talked to both of you guys before you got married. You know what I'm saying? And I specifically have said to you he told you what.
Yep.
He's telling you what he
Yep.
is. You know what I'm saying? So that's me saying you need to listen.
Yep.
That's me being difficult or hard. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta challenge you.
You need to challenge.
You need it.
You need it. But it needs to be somebody that's unbiased.
Yes.
Right.
That's
right.
important.
And I think like with mentorship, it's good to have. I think the older, because the older is supposed to teach the younger. But I also think it's important to have maybe someone who's been in the game longer than you. I would say closer because
And
there's
he's past the 7 years.
Their lifestyle
definitely
is relevant to their issues are relevant to your
right
issues.
because what they
I
dealt
agree.
with,
Yeah.
you know,
I
in
agree.
the 70s is a
I
lot
agree.
different.
They didn't deal with
than today.
Instagram.
I agree.
Right.
They
I
weren't
agree.
dealing with social media.
And
You know what I'm
DMs.
saying?
Yes.
And people sliding in the DMs.
Exactly.
They had to write a letter and mail it off. Like,
It's
Yeah.
very risky business.
And I think the older women can teach you if you want to take a traditional how to keep a home, and if you
Yeah,
want to
of
get
course.
into that,
But you need that too.
yes, you need
If
grace.
that's how you pattern.
You need grace.
Patterning your
oh my God, we should definitely have a part 2 because there's this whole other area of life we haven't even touched on.
Yeah, there's a
when it comes to marriage and living with a person. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
Being
So
wifely duties.
Right.
What does that look like?
So that's
wifely duties that
yeah.
people talk about.
And then that we can bring in some other aspects,
Oh
some
my
things we
God.
wanted to talk about today.
Yes.
That's that role stuff I'm talking about.
Yes.
The role reversal thing.
Yeah. So we're gonna hit on that really quickly, and y'all will stay tuned for part 2.
Submission.
So I don't know if y'all saw, but Fantasia Marino was on the Breakfast Club recently,
Mm-hmm.
and she also did a. She also was on. Her and her husband got on Instagram. I think it was an Instagram Live where they talked about submission.
Yeah.
And I thought it was. We all saw the clip, and we thought it was amazing how he broke down what submission really is. And what it looks like. And I love the fact that he was still uplifting his wife, uplifting women, and saying in submission, you can still like submit and be strong and be a boss. It's just you get with someone who understands that role of submission. It doesn't mean he's king, he's walking around, he's ruling, he's beating you down with words or emotionally or physically. It means that he understands the role that you play, but he's just taking the lead. He's preparing himself to lead that family. And I know Fantasia, I know you hit on the fact that Fantasia was watching his behavior.
Yes.
So I don't know if you hit on that.
Yeah, that helped her to submit, being that again she said I'm strong, I'm a strong woman. And when she watched his behavior and saw his example, it helped her to say, oh, okay, he got it. Pretty much, that's what that is. When you submit, you say, oh, okay, well he's got that.
Right, he's got it.
He's got it. There's no need for me to challenge it. He's showing me what he means, so I can flow. You know, that I always say that even when I was in the church, you know what I'm saying, the way I am the church, so don't ever get it twisted, you know what I'm saying. But when I was in the church walls, I thought submission looked one way, but I still didn't follow it that way, because I always see that in order to submit, and I've always said this, you have to be strong. You don't tell something that automatically was born to or made to submit. I don't tell the rug to be a rug because it's already a rug. I don't tell a doormat to be a doormat. It's already a doormat.
Right.
But something that I have to tell to you need to submit, then obviously you have
like the
strength.
ocean.
Right.
Like the ocean, it comes in, but it goes right back out. The tides come in, because it's strong enough to overtake the entire earth.
Right.
But God is saying no, come back in. So,
right.
You have to submit.
You have to submit because you can't have two heads. But again, that's what I want to say really quick. I do appreciate the way they put it. I do appreciate how she even said it. She pretty much was saying, "I'm not a doormat. I'm not saying be one." But if you are a man and you want a woman to submit, you have to be. I think I'm about to make up a word, but you have to be submittable.
Right.
You have to be in a position where, in a way, in a place, with a demeanor, talking to a powerful woman, strong woman. You have to present yourself in a way that she wants to submit to you.
Right.
Because trust me, there are other things, if she's all lady, all woman, that she want to do. You know what I'm saying? That she really don't want to do a lot of this stuff. She want to go do some more things, but the reason why she's positioning herself that way or coming at you that way is because she feels like she has to. Because strong women rise. We rise when we need to. But man, if you step out of the picture, we're gonna rise. Especially a black woman. We're known to be some of the strongest people on this earth. The medical community has tried to prove that, because they would do more to us than they would do to other women of other races, because they feel that we could take it. But that doesn't mean we take it from our men. That doesn't mean we usurp his power. That doesn't mean we try to be stronger than him. There's a balance there. There are times when he's weak, he needs that strength in us. And the Bible says submit to each other. Now, we're going to one to another. So that's when we bring in that scripture. We got to bring it on both sides. He's also submitting to us. There are times when he's submitting to the gifts and the strength and the things that God has given us as his helpmeet. So sometimes the world wants to take it and
make it negative.
Yeah.
But it's actually beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And like they were saying in the video, a head can't move without its neck.
Right.
So no matter, we're moving, but the neck, you know what I'm saying, you can't move. So no matter how much you say, I'm the leader, but bruh, like you actually need somebody there
Yep.
to undergird you,
Yep.
to give you, you know,
Perspective.
that
That's what we
perspective.
bring.
And I think it's beautiful. I think, you know, but women, we hear the word submit and we think, I'm not submitting, I'm too strong. You know, but you want to be with a man.
So that's
A real man's gonna understand your strength.
Yes.
He's gonna respect it.
Yeah.
He's gonna
He's embrace it.
Beautiful. He's gonna embrace it. Because my husband knew. My husband's very strong, but he knew. Matter of fact, he tells me, oh, he reminds me, one of the things that attracted me really to you was the fact that you had your stuff together and you were strong. He was like, I didn't want a jellyback woman. I didn't want a woman that I could just run all over and she let me do anything I want.
Right.
That wasn't attractive to him. He knew that I would challenge him. He knew I would bring him the real when it was time. But he also knew I came from a family and a lineage and a, you know, of tradition. And so I knew how to respect when it was time for him to make a decision, you know, and that I could be that support. And so a real man's going to appreciate, you know, that gift that you bring.
Yes.
Like that's just that, and I think it's beautiful.
I do too. It's harmony.
Yeah.
To me, when everybody knows their roles. And again, I was saying traditional roles because, like, in our family, right, the men in our family, our uncles, I'll say specifically when I'm speaking of, they can do it all. They work, they can cook, they can clean, they can do it all. You know what I'm saying? And so what does a traditional role look like in their house?
Right.
You know, does it make them any less of a man because they can clean like nobody business and they can cook like nobody business, or does it make them more of a man? Then when the wife comes in, and what's her role? But to me, it's just actually for me, it just seems like it's just whatever works for that household.
Right.
You know,
Right.
she may not, nobody may have taught her how to cook, or everything she burns water. What is supposed to do?
Everything he burns water.
No, she burns water. Everything she cooks, she can't even cook water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because she burned the pot. You know, boiled all the water out. So because because we stopped following those traditional roles for it's been a long time since we really actually have the moms have taught the daughters have, you know, we were taught, but I'm talking about, you know, they don't do that anymore. So a lot of times when we're talking about submission and these relationships and these roles, then we're also putting expectations on people when
yeah, but like I think women, especially black women, are some of the most educated you know, people out there. And so now I think it's twofold, because we have to respect the fact that that's the new age, right? You have the knowledge. Everywhere you got it, you have that knowledge and you're bringing it back home.
Right.
But women, we have to be careful not to say, well, I got this, I got that, I don't need you.
Right. Unless you don't need them.
Right.
Don't need them, don't be with them.
Right. You don't need them, don't be with them. Don't beat them down.
Yeah.
But it's like those roles are not traditional, because women are working now. We're operating in a different arena, but I don't think that means that you still can't submit in the home.
Right.
So when people hear submission, they think about ironing the man's, and this could be your role, but ironing the man's clothes, getting the kids ready when the man comes home, he puts his feet up, and you don't have to do anything. You're fixing his plate. He eats first. You know, sexual wise, you just laying there, let him do whatever you want. He's pleased, you're not. You know, he takes care of the money. I mean, that's him ruling everything.
Yeah.
And
that ain't gonna work this damn time.
No, that's not gonna work.
Buddy.
And so women like us who are like driven, strong, we submit to our husbands.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful dance.
Yeah, it's a dance.
Because they understand, like I said, there's some strengths that we have, and they appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's balance. And when you go back, I think about history. You know, you go back historically, you know, or you go back to the motherland, and you do have the elders and stuff sitting around. You have the women, you know, they're out there doing all the hard work. You remember that they're carrying the baskets on their head and those types of things. But what I love about a lot of the black men that are in America today, the strong black men in America today, they say that part they don't want to do, because they know they're built for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for the woman, they want us to, you know, be soft if we want to be gentle if we want to be.
Yeah.
You know, get out, you know, do the things we want to do to you know, to feel like a lady. You know what I'm saying? And if that doesn't work for you, woman, woman who says she want a man, then stop wanting a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just stop wanting a man.
Yeah.
Because you trying to make a man be a woman. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to emasculate him and trying to make him effeminate. You want an effeminate man. You don't want a real man, because a real man has Okay, I was about to get vulgar. A real man has balls. A real man's balls is dropped.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And he has the balls to stand up for you in the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He has balls to take, a bullet for you, or to go to work hard and protect and fight for his family and those types of. That's what a real man, at least in the connotation of a real man, the way we were raised in our culture, what a real man is. And so if you want him to be like a woman, I was about to just say something I probably couldn't say. So let me just wrap this up a little bit.
That is fun.
Don't ask for something that you're not ready for.
Right.
You want a real man, but you don't want to be what a real man wants, and he wants a real woman.
Right.
And that's it. And basically find that balance and what that means to you guys. You don't try to be what somebody else is. But what does that look like? I don't cook. You cook. Well, I cook. But I'm saying that person may say I don't. That woman may say I don't cook, and that is a deal breaker for you. It's a deal breaker.
Right.
Well, I'd rather. And if you love that man and you really want that man, go learn how to cook.
Yeah.
Well, find out what his favorites are. Talk to his mama. Do the. I always say pick and choose your battles.
Yeah. That's a nugget for marriage.
Pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
If it's really, how we do it is, if it's really strong for my husband, if it's something that really matters to him, and it doesn't, if it matters like on an 8 to him and it matters on like a 4 or 5 to me, then I let him have it. That's in anything. If we're discussing something, if it matters on a 8 or 10 to you guys, and it matters on a 2 or 3 to me, I say let's go for it.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. That's not a battle I'm gonna. But on the flip side, if it matters opposite to me and not really him, he'll give it. He'll be like, okay, baby, it ain't that serious. You can have it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So also, there's give and takes in these role plays, in these traditional roles. But I mean, and there are times when my husband he'll hold the fort down. But there's been once I think in our marriage where it had to flip, and I had to go out there and hold the fort down and work, and he was home with the kids. Which really worked out in a sense because he was like, oh my God, I had no idea how much work it would be to be home with the kids.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm coming home and stuff is toe up. And not that, he just couldn't handle it. Two little ones back to back, we're 14 months apart, running around. And he couldn't handle it. And he was like, had a whole nother, appreciation and respect. Like, oh my God, don't ever say a woman that stay home with kids don't work.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I just think there's an agenda.
Yeah.
And we got to remember that. So don't be so quick to listen to all this other stuff. All this stuff. You're gonna be a lone woman.
Yeah.
You're gonna be alone. And I'm not talking about those of you that are alone for, other reasons. But I'm talking about those of you that don't think that they have to. That think they can do all this all the time.
A man don't like a mouthy woman.
No,
a real man.
A real man don't want that.
Or if you see your man shut down and just become real, and just quiet about things and quiet in the home, you're
You're taking his manhood.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't care who doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's pay attention. You hear what they're saying, hear what we're saying, and pay attention.
Yeah.
You'll see, because you're like, oh, I notice when I do this, he does that, and I don't want him to pull it away from me.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll change this.
That's that not being selfish. That's that having the friendship. That's that respect and love for that person. You don't want their feelings hurt. You don't want them to feel less than and incompetent and like, oh, I can't even leave this home.
Right.
Because she got everything. Like, give him some stuff. Yes. And like you said, submit. A lot of women can run circles, so to speak, around the man. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It just means men are usually fixed on one thing. Most men. Women can multitask.
Yeah.
We can do several things and do them well
Which is
at
why
one time.
we're running circles around them.
Yeah, they're like, wait, just stop. You're talking about. We can talk. We can have 3 conversations in one.
Yeah.
And so if you know that about your husband, and if that intimidates him or makes him feel like, well, I can't keep up, like
Tone it down.
If you really want to be with that man, and I
Yeah.
don't think it makes you less of a woman.
No.
It doesn't make you less strong.
No.
If you have girlfriends that are challenging that in you, consider changing your tribe.
Yep. Oh, you're gonna lose your man.
You're gonna lose your man. And a lot of women say, I want a man, I want this. On a show we were watching, one of the co-hosts was saying most men are in jail, or most men that I want are, not that she want men in jail, but she was saying there's so few to choose from, and I think she was talking about black men. Yeah, so she was saying, that's why I'm single, and I'm tired of women who got me and trying to tell single women how to get a man. It's like, well, we don't want single.
Said, because we mouthy. She used the word mouthy in her part. So that might be your particular issue,
right?
Because of that mouth part. Because I'm telling you, a lot of times when they run to the other woman, I hear, and I talk to men about that. I want to hear their perspective. I don't want to know what a woman thinks. Wow. Oh, let me just deal with this. I don't want what a woman says as to why a man does something. I want to know what a man says as to why he does things and why other men do things. Because men can tell you why they do things. They tell us, but we shut them down as though they're not telling us.
Right.
I'm telling you guys, you women are coming off too strong. You say, especially black woman, I don't know about the Puerto Rican woman, but I see her doing a lot of little bit, but I don't know what you're saying, so I don't know. But you say that, you know, no, you just need to be strong. You just can't handle a strong woman. You just no, honey. Don't nobody want to be around that.
Nobody wants to
Not
be
even
around
your
that.
friends.
No, not all the time.
No, don't nobody want to be around this all the time.
Let me tell you something. If you can be professional at work, why, and you have enough respect for your job and your boss, and you like, I ain't gonna go all off, and they want to see it. Why are you bringing it home?
Yeah.
The same way you respect that boss, the same way you respect the leader of that company, respect your husband like that.
Yeah, man.
You know.
You get anything you want.
Yeah, you gotta show up that ego.
Yeah.
And they have egos. Yes, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And we do
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But just so much can be said about this topic.
Yeah, this is a really, it's a heavy topic. It's almost like a series type of topic.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to it, and everything we've hit on can be expounded and go different ways. There are a lot of different opinions about each thing. And like people say, well, you guys are married, it's easy for you to say certain things. Well, we were single once.
Yeah.
And we've been in, like I said, other relationships. So this wasn't our,
Yeah.
it wasn't like we just got a first relationship, we married, and we don't know what it's like to date and be out there. And it's not that we, you know, we're not ugly women. So we just know a lot more than what married people single people try to give you credit for. If you married, then you once were single, and you did get that man somehow. And if you're a strong woman, talking strong woman, you do know what it's like to have to submit. You do know. So yeah, we can actually give you some advice. How us strong women that were gung ho about our business, about our education, about anything that we did.
Yeah, we're passionate.
That we're very passionate women. How do we pull strong men? How do we have strong men come for us, and who loves our strength? Well, because one, we didn't settle, we didn't compromise in the beginning, but also we knew that we know how to stroke that ego. We know how
to build them up.
That
doesn't make us
weak.
The higher they go, it's the team,
honey.
baby. We're right there with them. We elevate with them.
Let's go. Try it. Let me just say try it. You don't know if you like it until you try it, right? So just try
and
it.
get counseling if you feel. Well, my husband has his baggage, his background of abuse that he went through, and he's bringing that in, and nothing I do. And so we're talking about a typical balanced situation.
Yeah,
you
we're
have
talking about
those
premarital
extremes.
too. Right. Before you get married. And you're already married. That's another conversation.
You know
what I'm saying? But before you get married, you can go into this thing with your eyes wide open. You can go into this thing with a plan. With some flexibility. You got some options. And it's good for the brother to know that. It's good for him to know that, because when he comes, you want to be, and here's the thing, you want to be a queen. You want him to treat you like a queen, but you know you got to treat him like a king, right?
Right.
You don't want to call him a king on TV, but say we got all these queens. Okay, so what a queen marry?
Right.
A king.
Right.
You're just a queen without a king, you're missing something. I'm not saying you can't be a single queen, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in a relationship. If you're a queen and he's not a king, he's a subordinate.
Right.
You're either going to be a king or a subordinate. You can't have, you know what I'm saying? But the beautiful thing about a king and a queen on the throne, a smart king listens to his queen. And a smart,
advisory. That's his
she's an advisor.
She's in his ear.
Yeah, she turns his head. She says, "Pay attention to that over there." And if you're a smart king, you would listen to, you know. But you need to pay attention too. Before don't give her no petty woman.
And that's what I
gossiping woman.
Yep. So it's all about who you connect yourself to.
Yeah.
Relationships are important. It can make you and break you. The 7 people that are in your circle you hang around, that's a reflection of you. So your king, you're right. Your king needs to look to you. You look to your queen. If you can't trust your king, this is pre-marriage, so you don't need to marry him, right?
That's it.
If you like Tiffany was saying earlier, if you have someone and you look at them in their environments and they're gossipy or they're they have drama all the time before you get married, that's gonna be a reflection of you. It's gonna be your world that you're going into.
Yeah.
So guys, y'all have time before y'all get married. Like you have time.
Yeah.
So you don't have to make that mistake. You don't have to rush. We know people who got married in their close to 30s, 40s.
Yeah. Yeah. And beautiful relationship.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. because it was time,
Yep,
and
time.
they were waited. There was season. A lot of them, you hear them talk. They needed to work some things out. Some things they may have seen in their previous, in their parents or whatever, and they weren't ready yet. They might have thought they were ready, but now when they look back on it, they were glad they waited. You know what I'm saying? And for us, we got married young. Well, to some people it was young. To us, our
parents, they did 17.
Yeah.
At 21 they were married, and
So I mean, I just think that know your foundation, know where you come from, and don't assume that because like a lot of times you may see what other people have done, parents or grandparents who raised you, or uncle whoever raised you, and you don't think you have those traits or whatever. Just check. You just might. You know what I'm saying? Find those things, work on those things, and turn them and use them for the good. That passion that you see, that seems like a lot of arguing. There may be some passion there. Take that and flip that for the good.
Yeah.
Use that to fight for your friend, fight for your marriage. You know what I'm saying? Use that fight in you. You don't have to lose the fight. You don't have to change the person. Just change the focus. You know what I'm saying? Change whatever you're fighting for. You guys turn that and let's fight for something in the world.
Right.
You know, let's fight for orphans. So you know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
Let's fight for whatever and not fight each other. But again, back to the foundation. If you're fighting each other at the foundation, I'm sorry, you probably pre-marriage. You're not. I don't think you're compatible. It's just don't do it. It's going to get worse.
Yes. Or give it time and come back together. That may be your soulmate, but just don't rush it.
Don't rush.
Because marriage is no joke. And
really
it's not a bad thing. It can be as beautiful as you make it.
But it's serious. It's a serious thing.
And it's work.
It's work.
And I was gonna say, a big booty, big titties, little waist, perfect hair, skin, all that outer is not what's gonna keep him there.
It's gonna fade away.
Beauty is fleeting, but a woman who trusts the Lord be praised forever.
Oh.
Hey! But I just think just know who you are. And I wanted to touch on, maybe we could do a part 2, spending time with yourself. I want to know what that looks like. We can say having that discernment, know what it is. I had to get rooted and grounded even deeper spiritually for me to know that I was ready, and know when I made that commitment to God that I was ready to make that commitment.
Yeah.
And so I had to really, brush off some things and get my head right.
Me too.
To know that if I'm gonna, because we took marriage serious.
Yeah.
Even after seeing our parents divorce, we still took it serious.
Oh yeah.
Thank God we weren't a product of what the stereotype or statistic that usually comes from divorced parents. We were still able to rever and honor their marriage, and we were old enough to see the connection they had. And like I tell people, I saw a beautiful marriage in my parents' home.
Me too.
I saw my mom as a homekeeper. That's how I'm able to keep my home. I saw that, and I saw my dad. And my mom was working too. So we saw that dance, what it looked like, and so we
and they just flowed.
Yeah, they flowed.
They didn't. Daddy wasn't in the kitchen telling Mama what to do in the kitchen and how to put the food up and where to put everything there. And Mama wasn't out there telling Daddy what to do, to take care of the outside, the cars and stuff. And they just flowed, and that's what we saw.
Yep.
And so that's what we make an effort to put forth. That's the last thing I want to say. That's what I was saying in the beginning when I was saying that some of the things that we actually, people say, y'all literally, somebody said, you can't just be around each other that much. You can't love each other that much. Y'all like living a fairy tale. But honestly, we literally said when we have our arguments, this was my husband's idea, and I was like, oh really? That's okay. We can do that. He said, when we have arguments, let's agree to not call each other out of each other's names. He said, and actually still say babe in the argument. And I was like, do what? Like, I'm fussing at you, and I want to say, and you want me to say babe. I might just call your name, and he don't even like that. He was like, no, say babe. But he literally said, because that keeps it sweet and you remember your intention.
Right.
It prevents you from going somewhere and talking to me as if you're talking to someone else. Both ways.
Right.
So I can say babe, but I can't say sweetie. I just can't say sweetie because I just can't do that, because to me in the moment we arguing, ain't no sweetness in that.
Right.
But we actually said this is what we want, and this is what we see, this is what we want, and so we actually said we're going to implement those things regardless of what it looked like outside to other people.
Right.
For us, you know what I'm saying? And it looked fairy tale, but it actually worked. I could say because it became a habit. It's a habit. We habitually talk to each other with respect, or walk away before we lose our control and become disrespectful.
Right.
and I won't say things. Y'all know I used to be quick with the tongue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Quick with it. You know, but with him, I don't ever want to cut him down. You know what I'm saying? Because he is my king.
Right.
I'm gonna go further. He's my Lord. Oh no, she didn't.
Yes,
Because Sarah
called Abraham her
Lord. So that's meaning he's just. I honey Rue. I'll help you with the decision, but the weight is on you.
Yeah.
If you rule, let me go do some other things that I want to do.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
It doesn't take away. It doesn't mean I'm not strong. Trust me, don't mean that.
No.
Come for me.
And if a man is strong enough to take off that weight, take it.
Yes.
If you look at the shoulders, if you look at, and even though
The
I
hips.
know in Africa and other cultures, the women carry the baskets and things, but if you look at how they're built to carry that weight. You know, these heart attacks and these things that women are experiencing, that's really not for us to carry.
That's right.
Let him carry it, and don't stress him out while he's carrying it.
No,
Be a
let him
support.
Yeah.
Talk it through.
Yeah.
Talk it out.
Yeah.
Don't yell it out. Don't pop off at him.
Yeah.
Just have those. We want to be women. Have those grown women, queen, royalty conversations.
Trust me, he'll respect you more.
Yes, he'll be attracted to you.
Yes,
He'll be like,
will.
God, you bad.
Yeah.
Woo. I know I got a bad one. That's a bad one. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's these women. So much I can say.
And Russ, you got to grow up.
Yeah.
You got to grow up because when you get a grown woman, she looking for a grown man.
A grown man on some grown man stuff.
On some grown man stuff. So
Yeah.
stop acting like a little boy. Get off your mama's TT and handle your business.
Yeah.
And when she see you handle your business, she gonna automatically flow with you because she gonna like that's really what she wants.
Yeah.
That's really what she wants, and it's time for y'all to stop calling them bees and hoes and doing all the other stuff. And then you supposed to think you're gonna get a grown woman. Then you want her to submit to you, and you talk to her any kind of way and treat her like she's nothing. She's supposed to just have your babies and walk around barefoot and pregnant. That ain't gonna work either.
Nope.
No, none of that's gonna work. So it's some stuff on both sides, you know. But you do what works for you. Don't let anybody tell you what works for you. Figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
At the beginning. So you won't commit to something that don't work for you.
Exactly. Because you
Play
got
that
time. Ain't nobody forcing your hand into it. No more shotgun weddings.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this has, I know, right? Hopefully this has been helpful for you all. So if you could do a takeaway, what would it be?
My takeaway again would be to tell you before you commit to a relationship, know what you want and what you need. Have a conversation with yourself. Have a conversation with yourself and be real with yourself and see you. Your things that you wouldn't want to bring to someone else. If you don't want, put it this way, don't treat someone the way you don't want to be treated.
Right.
So if you don't want anybody bringing in their baggage, you don't want anybody doing certain things to you, talking to you, treating you like a certain, first of all, don't treat yourself that way, and then don't treat other people that way. And you'll actually draw. You know, you do your work, you'll draw people that know how to treat you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to have those conversations because you don't have to tell your best friend. I never had to tell my friends not to call me a B. I didn't draw that type of woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't draw that type of friend.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Be that one you want to be that woman, because the man that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtain favor of the Lord. Well, he finds a wife. He didn't say a girl. A wife. She's already made herself wife material. She knows what that looks like for her. So when he finds her, he already knows she's ready.
And you're not for. I'm sorry.
I'm done.
And that wife material is not for everybody.
It's not.
It's for that you are who you are, and it's for that man who's attracted to that.
Yes.
And that's it.
And that's it.
I would say, in addition to that, then have the conversation with the person that you're considering married. So once you find out who you are and you are that, and he's attracted to you, well, come correct.
Yep.
Everybody put your chips on the table.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Don't use your poker face. Like, take the mask off and actually have those conversations about money, about children, about goals. What if you don't have children? You know what I'm saying? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Like, what? Because life will throw you curveballs. So, you know, what if a parent passed away and, you know, like, what's the goals?
Yep.
And yeah, I think the big thing is just conversation.
That's it. You
really can't go wrong if you talk.
You can't go wrong.
Because the person can't read your mind and listen, right?
Conversation is more things.
Yes.
Look and listen.
Because they can't. No, you're fine. They can't like read your mind, so you have to communicate it. Write it down.
Yeah.
You know, write each other a letter if you can't talk it out, whatever it looks like. But let the other person know your heart. And then and be watchful.
Yeah, because once you let them know your heart, watch how they handle it.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important because, and watch the whole body language, you know, because they may say one thing out their mouth, but their eyes and the rest of their body is just saying something different. Believe what you see. You don't even have to express it, but actions don't lie. Just believe what you see. They're not comfortable with that. They don't like that. That make them turn a whole nother color. You know, so either talk about that, deal with it, but don't deal with it in the sense where you're trying to change their mind. Just ask them what was that and listen. And if it's something that's a deal breaker for you and it won't work, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just like we can be friends, but this is all we're gonna be because that's a deal breaker for me.
It's okay.
And it's okay.
Don't be fearful of being
alone. I mean, seriously, because I'm telling you, usually when you're not thinking about it, when you're not working on it, that's when you draw it.
Yep. Like he found me in Walmart with a scarf on.
Yeah.
That's not how my husband found me. For those just don't chiming in. I'm just saying that's how it happens. Like he's attracted to you when you're in the gas station just minding your business, bopping along. He's like, who is that? Versus you know, trying to make a square fit into a circle. Like that's too much work. And then you gotta keep that. You gotta keep all that work.
Yes, a lot of energy, a lot of work.
It's
That's
already
how you start.
naturally a lot of energy.
Yes, that's what we're saying.
Woo!
It needs to be like you're like, man, I'm just feeling my best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait, and that both ways. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to see him again. And then he's saying the same thing, girl, I miss you all day. How you doing? And it's just he begging to come see you. You begging to come see him. It's like when y'all get together, y'all have so much fun. You live life. You can say what you want to. And when they say something to you, you're like, oh yeah, you know that's good. You'll listen to that person. You might not listen to anybody else, but you'll flow with that person. You might be with your soulmate.
Yep.
You might be with your best friend.
Yep.
That's who you need to marry.
Yep.
Your best friend.
I concur.
All right, so thank you all for tuning in today's show. Stay tuned to next Saturday's show on Spreaker.
Yes.
Many thanks to our sponsor, Temple Vitality Foundation. For more about the upcoming event, the exclusive Holiday Party for a Cause fundraiser event, visit holidaypartyforacause.eventbrite.com or templevitality.org.
Yes, so you can tune in to future shows Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spreaker every other Saturday and YouTube Live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time every other Saturday. Be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for new show alerts, updates, and notifications. If you would like to contact us, we can be reached at contact@tribetalkradioshow.com or through social media at Tribe Talk Radio Show. Guess we're doing it together.
Yep.
No matter your perspective, we
got you.
No matter your background,
We got you. Unapologetically holding you down.